Hello, 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 hello. So I'm excited today to talk about what is truly, actually necessary that not a lot of people are talking about for where you want to go, what you want to do, and it is so important that we evaluate how we spend our time and who we spend our time with. And a lot of times we're doing these audits of Emerson. A lot of time we do these audits of how we're spending our time, but we don't do audits of who we're spending our time with. Mostly because if we were to really look at who we're surrounding ourselves with, there's a few things that happen. We are afraid of letting people down. We're afraid of letting people go. And we are people pleasers who we don't want people to be mad at us. But what I've seen is there is a drastic difference in when you change your environment. And I mean your environment as a whole. I've told the story about when I was arrested the last time and how what really was the hardest piece for me. Hey, can you go to see Daddy, honey? Can you please go see Daddy? Thank you. I know you want to be a part of the show here. What was really the hardest part for me was obviously accepting that I had landed myself in jail for the third time. But I realized that if I wanted to live differently, if I wanted to keep going, I was going to have to change everything. And that terrified me. I was so scared because I had built what I thought was a life around the environments that I was in, right? So I was bartending, I was partying, I was well known in my city as this party girl with all of these friends and knew all of these people. And so to lose all of that felt scarier to me than anything else. And I truly believe that going from that place to where I am now, I can really attribute to the rooms that I put myself in and the people that I put myself around. And so oftentimes we don't put ourselves in these positions that we know would be good for us because we're scared. The one thing that we want as people more than anything is to be seen, to be heard, to be understood, and to be connected with. And so we fear that if we put ourselves in a room where we don't know anybody yet, where we feel like people are further along than us, that we won't get the connection that we need. The truth is that people who are successful and people who have built success from a place of integrity and from a place of passion, those are some of the most kind and compassionate individuals who really care about giving back. And if you want to create a different path for yourself, or you want to continue to expand the path that you're on personally and professionally, you have to evaluate, who am I spending my time with? Who am I putting myself in these rooms with? And you've heard this a lot when it comes to things like group programs and masterminds and communities. And to be honest with you, there's a reason why these things exist. They exist because they work. They exist because simply being in the room with other people who will raise you up, who will pour into you, who will see your idea and get excited about it, who will really just see you for who you are, but then invite you to step in further, whether that's personally or professionally, that can change your trajectory. If we try to do things alone, which is very easy, and I don't think that it's our intention. I don't believe that it is our intention, especially as women in business, to isolate ourselves. What I do believe is that we are so driven and so locked on where we want to go and the destination that we want to reach and the goals that we want to hit, that we see that future vision, we see those future goals, and we forget about the life that we're living right now. So creating a different environment and putting yourself around different people and in different types of rooms and being willing to collaborate with different types of industries and just being constantly seeking deeper level connections and collaboration is more than just about creating your business success. I need to shut my door. It's more than just about creating your business success. It is about being able to live a life that feels good. One of the things that I know from my own journey is that I have kind of these two areas that I feel can be very isolating. So there is entrepreneurship and being a female entrepreneur who primarily works from home. So I'm not in an office setting. And my team is all online, and that's beautiful. It's such a luxury that we have that. It's such a luxury that we can build really successful businesses in just the online market. But we are also people who need to be truly connected with. And I don't believe that we can connect at our deepest level with just a screen. And so the other side that can be very isolating is motherhood. For me, having 3 small children pretty close together, they are dependents, right? So it's like when I'm not here, like I'm with my kids. And so thinking about actually like fostering relationships and friendships to me was like, I don't have time for that. I'm just working on building my business and I'm working on raising these children. And so it was very easy, much like many other things as successful women, for my own, that fulfillment for me to go to the back burner, to where I was not prioritizing friendships or meeting people for lunch or coffee or whatever it is, because number one, I didn't have to build my business. And number two, I was stretched thin with everything and all the responsibilities that I had. So I'm sharing this with you because it's not something that is an easy journey. It's not something to where you just say, oh, I'm going to just go make a bunch of best friends. Making friends as an adult is hard enough. Making friends as a woman CEO, as a female founder, as a mom, like all of these things combined can really just set you up for isolation. But if you don't commit some sort of time to your personal fulfillment through the avenue of friendships, through the avenue of being in rooms to where people contribute and collaborate with you, then there is a plateau. I don't believe that we can get as far as we are meant to go without having a support system. This is why any successful business has a team. This is why when we talk about things like communities, masterminds, group coaching programs, retreats, these things exist because they work, because they foster connection that is not about the business, it is about your personal fulfillment. And if you know anything about what I believe and what I teach, and everything comes down to, I believe that your success in your business is directly tied to and dictated by your success within your personal development and your fulfillment as a human being. So up-leveling your social circle, putting yourself in environments and rooms and relationships for people is one of the greatest things that you can do for all areas of your life. Because we have all these different needs that need to be fulfilled. And one of those needs is that connection. And yes, we can find that connection with some people, maybe our partners, but there is still a space in which is left open for a lot of us, especially moms, especially entrepreneurs, and especially even further if you're a combination of the two. So when you're thinking about expanding, when you're thinking about your growth personally and professionally, I want you to look at how you're spending your time and who you're spending your time with. And are you spending your time always trying to drag people up with you? Are you being the sole cheerleader for everyone around you? Because if so, that's exhausting and that's taking your energy and you need to be poured back into. So while you may be like me who wants to save and help everybody in this world, you also have to recognize that if you're going to pour that energy out, if you're going to be the person who is somebody's rock, if you're going to be the person who deeply believes in other people's success, who do you have that is that person for you? As a mentor, one of the things that I really pride myself in is being the person that believes that you can before you get the data that you can. Meaning that before you have the proof of what is possible for you in front of you, before it's built, before you feel it, I can feel it in my heart for you, which is why I will hold you to that standard as your mentor, as you are afraid of your own rise. But that is what I'm saying. If you don't have those kinds of relationships to where you are the sole ambitious person in your group, if you are always in rooms to where people aren't on an equal level of ambition or drive, you're going to want to make yourself smaller. And when you make yourself smaller, you definitely aren't getting closer to the potential that's meant for you, which is capping your growth. So in thinking about expanding, I want you to be really honest with yourself. I love that you have friends and people in your social circle that are probably outside of your industry, your business, that don't even necessarily understand what you do. I believe that's healthy. I believe that's necessary. But you also need people who do understand you. You also need people that when you just sit down at a table with them, that you leave feeling so ignited and so full and so excited about possibility and opportunity. And that's the kind of space that's fostered in any sort of group, anything that I've ever ran. It's all about that collaborative effort. So imagine a conversation that you've had if you're ambitious and you sit down and you have a conversation with someone and you're like, yeah, I've been kind of thinking about this, or I have this idea, and somebody just pours fuel on that to where it's like, that's an incredible idea. You could try this, or what about if you added this to it? And then there's these ideas that just flow. And this is one of the things that happens at the Power Retreat that I love so much, because when you put yourself in rooms where you have this blended, beautiful, brilliant, just all these brilliant minds are together, to where you have women from different industries. And this happens in CEO Power Hour every month. And this happens at my retreats, because we're sitting as a group of women with, probably between all of us, 100 years of experience. We all have different stories, different life experience, different hardships that we've traveled through, different obstacles we've overcome. And then you bring that into a room and it's just what can we conquer today? What can we just break wide open? How can we break through anything? And when you feel, it's really like an internal feeling of confidence, but that confidence can be instilled in you because of that energy of you being in those types of rooms and in those types of relationships. Do you have people like that is my question. And that is why, once again, communities, events, like that is why, because if you've ever been to something like that, you know that you walk in and you're probably a little bit nervous, maybe you don't know anybody, and then the way that you walk out, your head is higher, your brain is buzzing with ideas, you feel excited about the potential, you feel excited about the opportunities. And that is, that feeling, replicating that feeling is, it's so incredible, and it should be a constant. It should be something that you have as a constant in your life, is seeking that feeling of excitement and collaboration. But also, when you feel that feeling, it's not just about the feeling in that moment. It's also about what transpires, what comes of having that feeling. So because you had a conversation, because you connected with someone, because a seed was planted, because an idea was expanded upon, then there can be action. And when you combine that beautiful like opportunity and you put things in place, what happens is you find yourself doing things that you never would have done, or doing things you were too scared to do, or saying yes to things that you thought you weren't ready for yet. These are the kinds of things that happen when you choose to really up-level your social circle. And think about who you're spending your time with. What is the energy of the room? How are you spending your time, and who are you spending it with? That's the question that I just want you to answer honestly today after listening to this, because it matters. It truly, truly matters, and it changes the trajectory of your life and your business. If you are constantly trying to drag people, if you're constantly trying to preach and teach to everybody around you, then you are going to find yourself either making yourself smaller or losing, like it's like I'm picturing like a balloon, right? And it's like you're just slowly letting your air out, right? But if you want to be that person for someone, if you want to be the someone who can pour into others, who can fulfill them with ideas and excitement and belief in them, if you want to be that person for someone else, you also need to be able to be poured into. You can't give what you can't receive. And so how are you receiving? How are you this year in 2023? What plans do you have, and what sort of rooms are you willing to put yourself in, even if you're uncomfortable, just so that you can see what's possible and do things that you maybe would have never done? It's one of the most beautiful things, especially with the Power Retreat, because these women come in and you have, everybody has different intentions, but the core intention is always some sort of growth, right? Whether that's you growing personally, professionally, both. Clarity to be able to see what is actually possible, the next move that needs to be made, connection. Many women may not admit this, but at the end of the day, if we don't connect with people who are like-minded, if we are not sitting next to, with, beside, if we don't have those people in our support system, we can't go as far. And so when these women come into this room, into this opportunity, yes, there is fear. Yes, there is uncertainty. Yes, there is moments in which you don't really know what to expect. But with that comes an opening of, since I don't know exactly what to expect, since I don't know how far I could go, since I don't really know everything that everybody's bringing to the table, what comes is something that is unexpected in such a beautiful way, to where they come in, you're together, and you're like, I'm in this. And so all of us are givers. All of us want to help other people transform, but it is a give and a take that is so effortless. And that is the most beautiful thing about these types of friendships. When you surround yourself with people who want to see you win, and the energy and the feel of the relationship is I give to you and you give to me, and there's no sort of pulling, it just feels effortless. That is what the retreat feels like. That is what the conversations feels like. That is what the growth feels like, to where I just can't stress the importance enough to say it very boldly and simply of having real friends and developing friendships in which there is great opportunity for business, but even deeper opportunity for your soul, for your heart, and for your fulfillment. When you're happy, when you're fulfilled, when you have people who love you, who see you, who want to see you win in your corner, there is so much less stress, anxiety, and pressure around the work that is very real, and the titles that we wear, and the heaviness that is being a provider. And I think that's been one of the things that I am most grateful for in my circle of powerful women, and being in these rooms and being able to facilitate conversations like this is I feel and am happier. And when I'm happier, that translates into my business, my clients, my family, how I parent, how I show up for my husband, all of those things, it makes a difference. But if we are just constantly seeking only business opportunities, only goals, and we just are so locked on that, it's like the best way that I can explain this is it's almost just like you move from being like underground in a tunnel to like elevating yourself to being this lighthouse who is surrounded by other lighthouses, to where there's overlap and collaboration and love and connection. And this is what's being fostered inside the Power Retreat. This is what's being fostered inside CEO Power Hour, which is my monthly roundtable, and that's in person. So in person, being able to actually touch, feel, hug, love, connect, we deeply need that. Like if you work from home, if you're an entrepreneur and you work from home, when was the last time you had a hug from a friend? When was the last time you went and you sat with a friend somewhere and there was no agenda and you just talked and you just opened up? And when was the last time you did that with a friend that there was a lot of commonalities to where you understood the emotions of running a business and or motherhood? When was the last time that you did that? You can come and do that inside my retreat. You can come and be held high and come and meet women and come put yourself in this type of situation. The Power Retreat is about half full at this point. I'm not sure how full it will be when this episode comes out, but it is the place for women who want to grow, transform, connect, and be able to up-level their social circle. So I'm asking you today, if you are a woman who wants to succeed, if you are a woman who wants to leave a legacy behind that outlasts many, many generations, if you are passionate about the mark that you leave with your business, I want you to consider your quality of life. And yes, you are making this incredible journey to the top, but let's also, as you're journeying and continuing to grow into bigger and better more, let's make your quality of life better by building your support system in your corner. And let's also think about what you can really create when you have those people in your corner, when you're not isolated, and when you're talking to more people than just your teams and the people in your house. So thank you guys so much for listening today and for being here. I would love to talk to you and see if the Power Retreat is a great fit for you. And if you're looking to really make some deep friendships and up-level your social circle, make sure that you are evaluating, how do you feel when you're around certain people? Who's lifting you up? Who do you have conversations with that just inspire you and motivate you and excite you? And let's put you around more of those people. I love to be a connector for women. I love helping to foster these friendships. So thank you again for being here, for listening, and I will talk to you guys soon.